Senate went on vacation. I mean, you just don't do that. You negotiate. Senator, it is a national crisis.
Mitch McConnell got absolutely clobbered during a debate with Democrat Amy McGrath. Now, McGrath is somebody who I have not been a huge fan of. She won the Democratic primary over Charles Booker. Charles Booker is who I was backing. He supported issues like Medicare for All. McGrath is more moderate. That said, McGrath would still be a clear improvement over Mitch McConnell. Now, there is even a point in this debate, I have 3 clips here to show you, but I'm going to show you a clip near the end, where he is laughing while being questioned over his failed response to COVID-19. But before we get there, I got 2 clips. The first one here deals with the opioid crisis.
How do we turn the tide on this horrible opioid crisis? We've made glancing reference to that earlier, but let's get a more detailed response. Senator McConnell, we begin with you.
That's a really good question. It's been a devastating issue, not just for us, but around the world, around the country. What I've done is the 21st Century Cures Act in the last 2 years of Barack Obama, the CARES Act after that, produced a total of $275 million for Kentucky. In that $275 million was the single largest grant in UK history, $87 million, the single biggest grant they've ever got. In addition to that, there are these law enforcement areas called HIDTA, high-intensity drug trafficking areas. I've gotten a number of those for Kentucky, so that roughly half of our state is covered by this combination of law enforcement and social workers working together to go after these very, very intense drug trafficking areas. So we're still fighting the battle, not over yet, but my clout has made a huge difference in providing funds for Kentucky on this big problem.
Senator, thank you. Lieutenant Colonel McGrath.
Senator McConnell's clout has allowed billions of prescription medication pills to flood into Kentucky. Okay? The first thing that we need to do is hold Big Pharma accountable for that. He's incapable of doing that. He's incapable of doing it because he gets the most money from Big Pharma than any member of Congress last cycle, last year. That's why. He's basically bought off. But what we really need in addition is more resources for treatment and prevention, to include making sure that we don't take away the Affordable Care Act. Because what Senator McConnell would do was take that away, take away the Medicaid expansion, where 50% of our fellow Kentuckians who are addicted get their treatment through Medicaid. And he wants to undermine that. I don't. I want to fix the Affordable Care Act. I want to make health care easier to attain so that people can get the treatment and prevention and treatment that they need.
Time. Senator McConnell, nothing extra?
No, why don't we go on to the next topic?
All right.
Look at that. Nothing to say. There were, in fact, a number of times during this debate where he had nothing to say after being criticized. And it's because the criticisms are accurate. And he doesn't want to linger too long on a topic that makes him look bad. Because, of course, on this issue, yes, Mitch McConnell is in the pocket of Big Pharma. Here is some evidence of that from Courier. Here's how much McConnell got from Big Pharma after nixing a bill to lower drug prices. Senate Majority Leader said in September that he would not allow a vote on the Lower Drug Costs Now Act. Said he would block any consideration of a bill to lower prescription drug costs. By the end of December, he had raked in more than $50,000 in contributions from political action committees and individuals tied to the pharmaceutical industry. And I will link to this below the video in the description box under sources. You can go through these links. They go into depth on this. They have actual links to the FEC filings of the various donations that he received from the pharmaceutical industry. So, of course, McConnell in the pocket of Big Pharma. Next topic, let's get to the Affordable Care Act.
Senator McConnell, for a decade, tried to undermine and get rid of the Affordable Care Act legislatively. He could not do it. So now he is trying to do it in the courts. The first case that the Supreme Court's going to hear after the election is going to be about the Affordable Care Act. And that is something that we really cannot have in Kentucky, because the Affordable Care Act did a lot of good for many, many Kentuckians. And so I don't want to throw it away. I want to fix it.
Time's up. Senator McConnell.
Yeah, no one believes the Supreme Court is going to strike down the Affordable Care Act. What this is really about is trying to change the subject away from this extraordinary nominee who's before the Senate.
I'd like to point out that if you're talking about life issues, you have to talk about the fact that before the Affordable Care Act in Kentucky, there was not a single insurer on the individual market that would cover maternity care. And Senator McConnell has had a terrible record of trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act all along. 50% of children born in Kentucky and rural Kentucky are born on Medicaid. And Senator McConnell wants to cut that. Those are life programs. And, you know, as a mother, I always want to protect children and protect, you know, health care for people.
Senator, additional response.
Well, speaking of health care, what she really wants and came out for was a single payer system. That means the government is in charge of your health care.
I wish. I wish McGrath backed single payer health care. I, as somebody who has single payer health care, understands all the misinformation put out there by people like Mitch McConnell about single payer health care. There is a reason why every other major country has some kind of universal health care system. There is a reason why Canada has had single payer under both conservative and liberal governments, and it has not been dismantled. If single payer healthcare was so bad, then why haven't Canadian conservatives dismantled it? Why haven't we moved to a U.S. healthcare system? It's because single payer is incredibly popular. Mitch McConnell knows that. He is lying to people. So, of course, that is one of the major issues with Mitch McConnell is his constant attacks on healthcare. And Obamacare, of course, does not do what is necessary. It is a right-wing healthcare plan, a private insurance healthcare plan. That said, it covers people with pre-existing conditions, and it gives people more healthcare than they had before Obamacare. And right now, yes, they are trying to get rid of it with the new Supreme Court potential pick. So here, Donald Trump tweeting out, Obamacare will be replaced with a much better and far cheaper alternative if it is terminated in the Supreme Court, would be a big win for the USA. Of course, Trump has no health care plan, has discussed health care for 5 years, says he has a great plan, has never shown this great plan. He has no plan at all, just trying to get rid of Obamacare. And to be fair, though, to be super fair, when it comes to Amy Coney Barrett, there is some disagreement on whether or not she would be able to overturn ACA with the hearing that is happening a week after Election Day on the Affordable Care Act. So according to some people, that it's very unlikely that Obamacare will be struck down during that case. So just quoting here from Law and Crime, I spoke Monday with University of Iowa College and law professor Andy Grewal, who has written extensively on Trump-related legal issues. He agreed that casting Barrett as a villainous vote against the ACA is inaccurate. Quote, whatever constitutional concerns Professor Barrett may have had about the ACA, said Professor Grewal, don't translate very well to the current case. So that may be the case. And it's important mentioning this, to mention this, in the case, in the instance that it is not struck down during this challenge. So I just want to make sure that's clear. At the same time, Amy Coney Barrett would heavily put the Supreme Court in favor of conservatives. And of course, Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett signed a newspaper ad in 2006 calling for end to the barbaric legacy of Roe v. Wade. So she would rip away a woman's right to choose. There you go. And of course, all the other, the decades-long impact that this would have on American citizens cannot really be translated properly, because there's going to be case after case after case that Amy Coney Barrett is going to side with conservative justices on. Now, let's get to the last clip here where Mitch McConnell just laughs over his failure on COVID-19.
We have 213,000 Americans dead in 9 months. That's more Americans dead than World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Persian Gulf War, Iraq and Afghanistan wars combined. And Senator McConnell thinks we've done a good job. We have 5% of the world's population, 25% of the world's COVID cases. And we still have a president in mixed messages from this White House on how to handle this virus. And Senator McConnell, his one job is to help America through this crisis right now in passing legislation to keep our economy afloat so that people can make ends meet. And instead of doing that, he is trying to ram through a Supreme Court nominee right now. The House passed a bill in May, and the Senate went on vacation. I mean, you just don't do that. You negotiate. Senator, it is a national crisis. Yeah. You knew that the coronavirus wasn't going to end at the end of July. We knew this. I mean, I just think you've got to. And here's the thing: if you want to call yourself a leader,
so Bill,
if you want to call yourself a leader, you got to get things done. And those of us that served in the Marines, we don't just point fingers at the other side. We get the job done.
All right. He laughs like an evil villain. He's laughing because he has no response to that. The House passed a $2.2 trillion coronavirus stimulus. The Senate hasn't even taken it up for a vote. That's Mitch McConnell. Just a horrible man. Horrible man. And as disappointed I am that McGrath won that Democratic primary, obviously, if you're in Kentucky, I mean, this is a no-brainer. You got to get rid of Mitch McConnell. You got to get him out. And hopefully there's enough people there that are going to wake up. But this is, right now, she's losing in polling. Who knows? Maybe things will improve. Maybe people in Kentucky will wake up. Maybe there'll be enough people that didn't vote last time to come out and vote this time. Who knows? But it is really... It's almost impossible to put into words the amount of damage that Mitch McConnell has done to the country and how that damage will continue to wreak havoc on Americans going into the future.